Police sue for the Manifesto. Law enforcement investigating in Nashville have told us that we were going to be getting our hands on this at some point, but that doesn't seem like it's happening. The question is why? And a lot of police have the similar concerns because we know there was a bunch of stuff seized in the investigation. Here is one snippet of some of the inventory. We see the firearms. We saw 7 journals were picked up under the bed. We saw there was another journal in a box labeled Audrey's stuff in a basement under the stairs. There were 11 home videos seized. We had a note called New Song. There was a notepad with a bunch of passwords on it. 2 more journals. There was a note on here that people leave when they end their lives. Passwords on other sticky notes, 2 Honda keys, lots of stuff. That was just on page 1. On page 2, we saw a lot of other things. We saw laptops, Samsung tablets, videos, different phones, all sorts of other writings. The list goes on and on and on. But why are we not seeing it? Why do they continue to hide evidence from us? We still have questions about the Las Vegas incident and so on. We don't know what is out there, and the police now want answers. This came over from the National Police Association, part of a press release. They tell us that they file a lawsuit to obtain the Manifesto and other records. Coming out of Indianapolis, the NPA, also known as the National Police Association, has filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit in conjunction with a Tennessee private investigator called Clada Renee Brewer. I have the lawsuit we'll take a look at, against the government of Nashville and Davidson County for refusal to act on a request for records. They want everything, all the writings, manifesto, everything relating to the March 27th incident that took place in Nashville, Tennessee. Audrey Hale was there, 6 dead, 3 children, 3 adults. So let's take a look at what is happening here in this claim. You see, the lawsuit filed April 28th out of the Chancery Court, Davidson County, Tennessee. The case is Brewer versus the Metro government of Nashville. They say that the police agency files this complaint to receive prompt access to inspect and copy certain records maintained by Nashville. The Metro government has failed and refused to produce these records, and we want them. Who is filing this? They tell us a little bit about Clada Renee Brewer. Miss Brewer is a citizen of Tennessee. She is in conjunction with the National Police Association working together. So she's a citizen there. She's got standing. She's going to help file the suit. Defendant is the government. It's a governmental entity. The law says they've got to reply and comply with public records requests. The act says that all state, county, and municipal records shall, at all times during business hours, be open for personal inspection. But the Metro government is not allowing that. The government is the creator and the custodian of the records from the incident, but the PD has not yet responded to the plaintiff's request. But instead, on April 12th, it denied a substantively identical request from somebody called Tonda Johnson. We have an exhibit of that as well. In the exhibits, Brewer and the police, they have requested records relating to the event that occurred in Nashville on March 27th. On that date, Hale unlawfully entered the school heavily armed and caused the tragedy. Officers of the Metro Police Department quickly responded to the incident. The officers entered, located Hale, and eliminated her. Since that time, the actions of the Metro PD have been correctly characterized as commendable and heroic. No one has suggested that the officers engaged in any criminal activity at all. Says that there is no criminal prosecution concerning this incident. And despite the extensive media coverage, including interviews of public officials, no one has suggested that there will be any criminal prosecution at all. And so the government's reason for not allowing the disclosure of these public records is not applicable. It's not an open case. Because there is no criminal prosecution, it doesn't apply. Rather, this case is controlled by other laws. And in a similar case, they decided that those cases were also closed. They tell us that here, the government has not identified anyone who might be subjected to any prosecution. So the government is saying, we can't give you these records. We might charge somebody. And they're saying, well, who? Who is it going to be? Who are you going to charge? We don't think the police should be charged, and the individual is dead. They can't even identify any class of persons who might be subject. And the government hasn't even identified any crime or any class of crimes that might be charged. No indications from the government, even whether an agency is investigating it or whether they might bring charges at all. And so since the incident, law enforcement officials have made numerous comments to the media concerning some of these records that we've requested, but these comments are inconsistent with there being any prosecution. And so therefore, court, we ask that the courts schedule a hearing with the government to appear and show cause and explain why we shouldn't be granted these records. The law says we should go in and inspect them. You're not allowing us to do that. And if they can't come up with a good reason, make them promptly produce the documents. We want you to set a date and a hearing within 5 days, issue a new order, ordering the government to produce the documents as quickly as possible. Tell them they're not exempt from these other laws. And we also want costs for this as well. Respectfully submitted, your friend, Douglas R. Pierce, out of Nashville, Tennessee. So that got submitted, and there are various exhibits here explaining some of the stuff that they want. This was a part of their Freedom of Information Act request. They're telling us the incident. They want all writings, including the manifesto of Aiden Hale. They want all records describing the writings, all records depicting the analysis of the writings, all records of communication between the PD, the Director of Community Safety, or records from everything. Texts, communications, and so on. All of it they want, and they filed a lawsuit to get it. Now, we'll see what the Circuit Court, the Chancery Court for Davidson County, Tennessee does, but we're all looking forward to seeing what those documents entail, and there's probably a reason why they don't want us to see them.